sunrise.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Summit 4. I'm GoDz, joined in the studio by a new guest, Lyrical. Welcome to sunny Los Angeles. How you doing?
Pretty good. It's beautiful here. Absolutely gorgeous outside.
Good.
Excited to cast some Dota.
Good. Well, for those of you who don't know, Lyrical will be bringing you today's action here for Secret vs. Empire. He's joined us here at the Beyond the Summit studio. He'll be helping out with the coverage also this weekend for the Frankfurt Majors. But right now, we've got Secret vs. Empire. These teams, Secret yet to play a match. Empire had to go through the first round in the bracket where they came through the round of 12. They kind of seem to be back in form after a bit of a struggle, but we're going to hop right into the draft. We've got it unraveling here, and it is Empire playing on the Radiant side. Team Dire, teams being played by Secret, and game one of our best of three.
Absolutely excited for this one. Already seeing a Doom first pick, Veno and Naga as well. You know, you mentioned there as well that they're in a little bit of a rough form earlier. I was looking through some of the stats, and they've been playing a heck of a lot of heroes. No player on Empire has played a hero more than twice in this new patch. They've consistently been trying out new lineups, and excited to see what they're going to bring to the sort of game today. Also saw that Meepo ban out there. A little bit of a respect one there from Mr. Weeha as well.
Yeah. And the thing that to me really strikes me with Empire is they've been trying different things with their strategies, and they've also finally solidified their roster. They've got Yoku back on the team. They brought in No Fear, who's captaining and drafting, and it seems the ship is once again afloat and smooth sailing for now. They cruised through and won the first open qualifier for Europe to get into the major, so we'll be seeing Empire play this weekend. And they seem to be just in good form in general. A team who, at their best, has been a Tier 1 top European team who could beat Team Secret. Whether or not that's going to be the Empire that shows up today, we'll have to wait and see.
And it's going to be really curious. I think a Night Stalker Doom opening is definitely a strong one. You've got a heck of a lot of regeneration. You got the ability to dive under towers, just completely and totally mess up whatever lane they're in. And you know, we have seen Doom played in the safe lane occasionally, but I feel like an off-lane Doom here would be pretty strong.
Yeah, depends. Yeah, very much how they want to run the Night Stalker. I think we've seen teams do Night Stalker in the offlane as well as in that 4-position support. So the Doom kind of more limited, doesn't play as that support role, but can be played as either a core in the safe lane or the offlane. It seems most teams are preferring the offlane option, but Empire team who, I mean, you go way back to when they had Mag, they love to pick up this Doom, so probably happy to see this once again in the metagame. I like Empire's ban on the Alchemist. Secret, especially with the synergy with the Venomancer, such a good hero to give the Ags upgrade to. When I first saw the Veno pick, I was like, oh, here we go, Secret's going Veno Alch. And then they picked Naga, so I'm like, oh, okay, they're not going Alch yet. And Empire make sure that it stays that way by banning it out.
Yeah, certainly. You don't want to be able to give away those free things. I mean, Alchemist obviously just able to farm up that gold so quickly, and I think that it is a little bit interesting to see this first pick coming out from Secret being the Venomancer. You mentioned there the combination with the Alchemist. Also now with the Naga Siren as well, they've got a whole heck of a lot of team fight potential, being able to, you know, disengage from team fights or pick the ones that they want or track away those sort of running away in fear heroes when you end up catching them with that ulti. And I think that, you know, when you take a look at Empire's draft as well, there's sort of more of a pick-off-y type thing. Obviously, Doom, a great ability in a team fight, being able to just shut down that one hero. And also Night Stalker, if they take those team fights that they want. I feel like there's a good possibility here that Empire is going to be able to take the team fights that they want and really shut down one of those core heroes. And we'll see how Secret's going to be able to deal with that one.
It feels like they need that pick-off, because otherwise you put these lineups like in a pit together in a small confined space, and that's where the song Veno ulti is going to reign supreme. So Doom needs to take someone out before a fight begins with that ultimate, unless Empire are going to now move into a 3rd and 4th pick, which can kind of more solidify their team fight capabilities. But we'll have to wait and see. Empire always... Okay, I always look at the Shadow Fiend for Resolution or Yoku when they're playing on that Radiant side, but that was banned out in the first stage, so no Shadow Fiend this time around. And Secret, kind of like Empire, leave their draft very open with Naga and Venomancer, because two heroes that can be played on a core role as well as a support role. We've seen more of the Veno support from Secret, but there's been teams like Monkey Business who've run No-Tell on the mid Venomancer a lot, so definitely flexible picks as far as where they can lane. Envy, Jackie Mao loves to play the Naga Siren if he thinks it can fit into the draft as a core hero carry as well, as opposed to the support Naga.
Yeah, and this time around we're going to be seeing the Tusk picked up as well. I think that, you know, considering the Clockwork's already been banned out there, another really solid offlane hero. You do see him played in the support role occasionally, but I feel like here, considering that we've got the Doom and the Night Stalker, there's already a good potential there to, shut down heroes, get up in their face, and just, walrus punch them away, get the ability to lock down one hero. And I feel like Tusk, in terms of his ability to burst somebody down in a team fight, is really great for that. Also just create a little bit of havoc in the early game, which is going to be important when you've got the Night Stalker running around at around that minute 4, or, the second phase of the nighttime as well. It's really great. And it's the snowball as well, being able to save somebody and keep them at least a little bit longer away from that duration of the doom. It's not like as great as sort of, a Shadow Demon coming in, but it's pretty solid. And while you do end up just getting up in the face again of the doom, if you do end up trying to bring somebody away from the doom a little bit longer, it's a little bit tough.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think the other thing which Tusk provides, which Venno gave the lamp as well, was vision. When you see a Night Stalker on another team, you're thinking, man, the vision game is going to be lost. When it's nighttime, if he can farm an Ag Scepter, get a gem, you lose all sense of map control. And even before that stage where he's got an Ags and a gem, just nighttime vision is very hard to fight against the Night Stalker. So you've got Venomancer, Plague Wards, and the Sigil to give you some scouting capability. So I feel like these are two very useful heroes to have, and Puppy as a captain draft has always prioritized having these heroes which can provide that little bit of extra vision to help make sure you're picking the right fights and moving around the map in the most effective ways possible.
Certainly. Rubik next picked up by Empire, another great hero for being able to be effective in those team fights, obviously, creating havoc with that spell steal. Also, as well, in the early stages, a pretty strong laning hero, I'd say. You have a pretty nice disable there, 1.5 seconds at level 1 with the lift, and then you've also got the stun off the back of that. Fade Bolt, also just a great nuke for being able to burn somebody down. And Team Secret essentially ramping up the aggression there with the Ancient Apparition. What do you think of that pick there?
It's the Venno AA duo is just so dirty. The AA Ice Blast comboed with the Poison over the Venomancer just wrecks heroes. You kind of just whittle them away, and then you hit them with an Ice Blast, and there's just no coming back there. And that's where no amount of heal is going to necessarily help you against the Venomancer. You want to heavily be considering a pipe on the side of Team Empire, but it's always a question of who actually buys a Pipe of Insight. It's such a uncommonly bought item, one of the least bought items in the game, and that's where you can't just say, okay, well, we're versing Venno AA, let's just, X hero is going to buy a pipe. There's very few candidates out that are really viable to get that. You could farm it on a Doom, but then you're missing out on getting a good timing on your Ag Scepter, on your BKB if you feel you need it. You have got the Rubik with Null Field, which negates some of the magic damage, but that doesn't really come online until much later on in the game. You normally don't get points until level 10. Sometimes you just go for maybe 2 in Telekinesis and start leveling up, depending on your level progression, but can be very hard to play against this AA Venno AoE combo, and you've got the setup. Naga just sleeps, sets everything up, and then you walk on in, drop a Poison Nova, follow up with an Ice Blast.
I feel like Empire are somewhat able to be okay with this. As you mentioned, the vision advantage that you've got with the Night Stalker, that's going to be their key component to being able to, deal with the huge amount of magical damage that's coming out right there. And the Rubik helps a little bit as well, as you mentioned, with that Null Field. The other big thing here that I'm a little bit concerned about, though, is that you kind of don't get that Aghanim Scepter online until a little bit later. So all of the ways that Empire has to deal with the massive amount of magical damage that's coming out come online at the later stages of the game. So if you hit around that mid-game timing, if Secret take a big team fight there and are able to really wipe away Team Empire, it's going to be... Well, I mean, they're going to be team wipes. I feel like there's a potential for that.
I absolutely normally agree, but this isn't an off-lane or a support Night Stalker. I think he's going mid, because they got Rubik and Dazzle now, so they've got their 2 supports. Definitely a core Night Stalker. Whether it's off-lane or mid, we'll have to wait and see, because Doom is potentially a safe lane hero, but I think it might be a mid for this game at least.
That's a throwback.
They may realize, we need this Ag Scepter up as fast as possible to give us some great aggression, and that's where they may just be putting it on Yoku in the mid lane, or... I guess it seems Yoku's mostly playing mid now. The Resolution switched over to the off lane.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. And I like what you said there about them realizing and reconstructing their draft a little bit. Maybe this was always the plan to go Night Stalker mid, but again, that flexibility that you talked about early in the draft, that you leave open the possibility to be able to run this in a mid role. You have the possibility there to change the way that the farm prioritization goes, and I think that's pretty cool. I always like to be able to see, these top-tier teams playing the heroes in roles that they're traditionally not played in, or at least according to the meta. And with the meta consistently shifting and evolving now, it makes a lot of sense. So I will also say the Dazzle pick makes sense also, but it's a little bit strange considering I feel like Ancient Apparition is one of those heroes that, with the DOT and the fact that he eliminates all the healing, can be a little bit of a counter to him, but I think the Grave is good enough that it makes sense here.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways they counter each other. Like the AA Ice Blast can secure a kill on a hero that gets low that would otherwise have survived because they got Grave, but at the same time, if you time the Grave right when a hero is about to get down too low to where he's going to shatter or whatever, you can keep them alive, and then the Ice Blast wears off. And similarly, all this AoE damage, if they don't die in the Ice Blast, you've got the Dazzle to heal back up and negate the Poison Nova damage. So I think Dazzle simultaneously counters the secret lineup while being countered himself by the AA Ice Blast. And it's very much conditional on the Ice Blast even landing.
Yeah. Well, certainly a possibility to outplay each other, which is always fun to see. And Disruptor is going to be the last pick here, out of Team Secret. So 2 supports there picked at the end. This should be an interesting lineup of cores indeed. So should be the mid Venomancer that you were talking about earlier, probably?
Yeah, I think, unless we're seeing Disruptor go mid or something crazy. He did get buffed. That Thunderstrike now with a 9-second cooldown at level 4 if you want to go for the max Thunderstrike build, which is not so popular. But, you know, Secret, known for sometimes reinventing the wheel. So it'll be a mid-Veno, I imagine. Puppy picks up Disruptor. And Naga will be Jackie's hero. So
very cool.
We'll see a carry Naga. Haven't seen Jackie play Naga in a while, but he was, I'd say, one of the best Western Naga players. To me, he learned a lot from Miracle, the Southeast Asian player who really brought Naga into the metagame. And Jackie was like, watched tons of his replays, followed exactly what he did. I remember him tweeting about, like, dude, this guy's insane, how he moves around the map. I'm going to learn to do what he does. And he really has been playing this hero for longer than most of the Western carry players.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love to see that type of the collaboration. That's the thing that's so cool about video games in general, I feel like, is that you've got this sort of collaborative effort of everybody trying to get better. And obviously there is the competition part as well of esports in general, but at the same time, everybody kind of, you know, they know each other, they like each other, they learn from each other, and it feels like a real community, which is just so lovely. I'm loving community.
You know, you say they're lovely. Just wait till you read Twitch chat or like 4chan VG or something. I don't know, all these. Then you see the true colors come out, perhaps.
Awesome. Yeah. Well.
No, we love you, Twitch chatters.
You're so good. You're so great. I love you guys so much. We can do a quick little introduction to the players while we're waiting to load on in. We got Aloha Dance here for Empire, who's going to be playing that. Oh my goodness, can't click on the hero at all. Rubik. We also got No Fear here, who's going to be playing the Dazzle. Silent is going to be playing your Doom. Off to the side, Yoku is going to be on that Ember Spirit, and so I can't actually click on the heroes right now. No problem. No big deal at all. Night Stalker is going to be the resolution.
Just Reborn hitboxes, I guess.
There we go.
When in doubt, the first step for casters, blame Reborn. Blame the client. blame. So the 2 things you can blame these days is Perfect World servers, even if you're not on Perfect World servers for China, even if it's on a China game, and you blame Reborn. So it's never our fault. I always defer blame. Mics aren't working. You guys should restart it. So it's the problem with the client, you know?
Definitely. No big deal at all. And then on Team Secret, we got Pile Dai, who's going to be playing that Ancient Apparition, heading up to the top lane. Jackie Mao going to be playing your Naga Siren off to the side as well. Weeha's on that Venomancer in the mid lane. Got Puppy playing the Disruptor. And last but not least down here, Misery on that Tusk. Getting ready for a little bit of a fight potentially brewing up in the top lane. Maybe going to see somebody get cliffed in a wonderful fashion. Or I kind of feel like at this point, considering the Tusk is down in the bot lane, Empire has a little bit stronger capability to run at this team here.
Yep. It's 5v4, and they've just got great heroes for level 1 brawling. You run in first with Night Stalker, and that's a stout shield Night Stalker with 5 armor, 600 HP. Dazzle, heal, Rubik lift. They've got the far superior level 1 fight. Even if Tusk joins, I feel Empire have the edge in this 5v5. But Chilling Touch onto 4 heroes is a lot of damage. That's the one thing you always have to worry about if you're Team Empire, but they're ready to strike. Let's go.
I think that they're waiting to really go on into this one. Aloha Dance coming on in. Chilling Touch does get dropped down as well. Kinetic Field. There's the lift onto the Ancient Apparition. He's falling so quickly. Jackie Mao might be in a little bit of trouble as well. We do see Tusk Disruptor end up picking up the Bounty Rune, and they get away with both of the Bounty Runes and only 1 hero dead.
So, not as bad a trade as you'd maybe think based on Empire's position. So they get out, just with the 1 casualty. Disruptor not the ideal hero to get that Bounty Rune on. You'd much rather it would have been picked up by Weeha in the mid lane Venomancer, but he's still versing a hero who similarly did not get a Bounty Rune. So Yoku got the first blood, which does give him a bit of a gold lead in this mid lane, though.
What do you think about this aggressive tri-lane up here top for Empire?
it seems they're really just respecting the Naga Siren as the best carry in this game. You cannot match up to Naga Siren late game. Doom not going to outcarry. Ember doesn't actually match up that well against Naga, despite being a great counter to PL as an illusion carry, because Naga, you split your illusions and you send one to every different lane. So I think Ember's not actually a good counter to Naga, and that's where they want to make sure Naga gets a very slow Radiance, and they feel confident that with a Night Stalker and 2 good range supports, they can contest this lane.
Yeah, and it certainly seems like there's a potential for some kills up top here. Playing very, very defensive on Team Secret. They don't want to end up getting caught out to the side. They are going to be going for this pull here, and it looks like they might be able to contest this a little bit. Another Chilling Touch gets dropped down, and you'd normally think that they would be able to fight against this one. Kinetic Field goes down. Maybe No Fear getting in a little bit of trouble. So much damage from that Chilling Touch, but looks to be a little bit okay now. Just going to back on out, testing the waters, making sure that everything is all wonderful in here. And mid lane, it looks like the Ember Spirit's been able to get a little bit better of the Venomancer, 6-3 versus 6-2. So actually relatively even, and down bot as well, going a little bit more the way of Tusk, but everything looking really even across the board.
Yeah.
Going to come down to the top lane, I think, for how this goes.
I think it's a good move to do the... If you put the supports with the Doom, you want Doom, then Doom doesn't get much XP. This is a hero who really benefits from early fast levels. The buffs he receives are massive to his Scorched Earth, but you've got to get a fast level 5, level 6, level 7 on this hero to really benefit from it, and that's what he's going to get by having a 1v1 lane. Right now, the CS might be even against Misery or slightly Tusk favored, but once Doom gets level 5, Tusk is in a lot of trouble.
Mid lane, seeing the Thunderstrike get dropped down onto Yoku. Needs to create a little bit of separation. He has health up. That's also a Gale on top of him, slowing him down a little bit more. Does he get enough right click? One more. That's going to be it. First Blood going the way of the Disruptor. So Bounty Rune and the First Blood. This is going to be a really rich Disruptor here.
Yeah, that Boots First just paying off there. Pylaidai doing the hard support role, and Puppey gets a lot for his team by
top lane,
having
Jackie
Boots.
ends up getting caught there. Going to split one more time again, jumping on top of him. Chilling Touch is down, but it's not really going to be able to dissuade them from going after this Naga Siren anymore, and he's actually going to be able to walk away from that one. It looked a little bit scary with 3 heroes on top of him.
And now Puppey's showing up bottom lane with the double damage rune, so Silent needs to be careful.
Oh, jump forward. Is he going to end up going down here? Thunderstrike, he's just turned around. He doesn't care. That buff that he ended up getting for his... maybe glimpse back one more time? They're looking for him. He is...
Yeah, Silent's like, have I still got my heal up? Okay, it's worn off. Let's back off. He also doesn't have boots. Puppey with the boots. If he had boots over Puppey, likely he could have gone in for that kill, but... Oh, Misery just got Arcane back up. He could look for a solo kill on Silent here if he's not careful.
Yeah, it's a little bit
so
scary.
low.
Oh my goodness, it's just terrifying being able to run in here, and the fact that he doesn't have that Scorched Earth back up for another couple of seconds here makes it all the more dangerous. But Misery also being really low, not wanting to press his luck too much further, but already the Disruptor really making his presence felt across the map. And I think that the being able to leave the lane up top here, I think that's really key, because it's going to mean that you're going to get some more farm on this Naga Siren, a little bit more EXP. All of those things are wonderful, and they're not dying. And I think that's the biggest thing so far, is that the fact that this Naga Siren's been able to consistently make his way out of these sort of semi-ganks that have been coming in from the aggressive tri-lane, but it's nighttime now, and you need to be a little bit careful.
TP's in bottom.
Oh, Misery ends up getting caught off to the side. He does get glimpsed back. That was, up top again, maybe? A little bit more fighting. Just going kind of crazy all over here.
The glimpse is like, let's bounce bottom, let's bounce top. Rubik TP'd in, still got off the telekinesis, so the glimpse back may have saved him, but it looked like Silent could have got the kill. Silent now going snowballed on bottom lane. He goes down.
Nicely done there by Misery. Consistently making the pressure felt down here in bottom by that Tusk, and Puppey just moving around the map. He's got no fear at all to go on over here and do this. Yet again in the mid lane, we're seeing a little bit of damage. Yo, Mihad making his life terrible right now. Yoku is not in a very happy place. That being said, he's been able to get the farm that he's wanted, just consistently feeling the pressure. Yep. Thankfully, hasn't been able to get taken down quite yet since that early gank from the Disruptor. But speaking of which, Misery moving around to the side here. He has his bottle up. I think that Yoku should be okay. He's got Remnant. I think he's going to be fine here for this gank as long as he is able to get it off. No, Flame Guard comes up one more time, trying to get away. He's slowed on down, but after the bottle charge, he's going to be okay. And it looks like they might opt to just back on out. Yeah, don't want to end up pressing their luck too much further.
They force a TP from No Fear, which is still some wasted time for Empire, where they're TPing in heroes to react, and then Misery's wasn't going to get much out of the offlane at that given time. At least Puppey was down there getting levels, so we are seeing points in Thunderstrike. Puppey's got 2 in the Thunderstrike already. With the fast Arcane Boots, he can sustain spamming this out on enemy heroes for a lot of damage output. I don't know if he'll keep getting more points up to level 3, level 4, but this spell did receive some buffs. Doom on Misery now in the jungle, though.
Doom on Misery, also a little bit of action up top. That's going to be a little bit... He's going to end up getting denied to this. Nicely done by Puppey. Would have been great to be able to get the last hit there, but not quite able to make it happen. And meanwhile, as I was talking about that, Night Stalker up in the top lane, when it ended up turning nighttime there, he made it really rain down on that Ancient Apparition's head. The Chilling Touch was tossed out a second ago, but didn't end up really being able to sustain the damage to turn the gank around on Night Stalker. He's just so tanky right now. He's got an incredible ability to burst people down. 6 armor on him as well. Really solid.
As the Tread's already looking to complete an urn soon, and we'll see a gank towards mid. Weeha needs to be careful.
Mid lane, Invis Rune up. That's going to be the chains dropped in just a second, I assume. Does end up catching him, though. Gale on top of 2, but Aloha Dance is here. Lift back one more time, and that's going to end up being a kill. Ember Spirit gets the last hit. 300.
Well, simultaneously bottom, though.
Oh, my goodness. Puppey going crazy down here. Does toss out the Thunderstrike. Misery able to take down the Dazzle. Jump forward again. Snowball. Puppey's, ends up going down nonetheless, despite the nice Walrus Punch. That Scorched Earth is just too strong. It ends up getting disengaged now, so he's not going to be able to run down Misery.
Yeah, that Snowball almost worked against Puppey in the end there. It looked like he could have gotten out of range and just kept on running. Probably would have died to the Scorched Earth, but Silent, this is where Doom is a beast. Level 4 Scorched Earth, you're looking at huge damage output and sustain whenever that's online. If you go on him, if he's got the heal up, you've got to burst him down in a couple of seconds.
Mid lane, Aloha Dance ends up getting caught by the Gale. Right clicks, a bound. He's going to end up going down, I think. Oh, never mind. Pyrolag getting really low as well. Rubik does end up falling in the end, and meanwhile, the Ember Spirit picks off the Ancient Apparition. He is getting really low now, needs to make his way, but not going to end up being enough. Night Stalker coming in as well, wants to take revenge on his teammate that ended up going down. Static Storm dropped. There is no way to be able to catch out Puppey now. He's going to end up walking away. One more right click, triple kill for Weeha in the mid lane. Very nicely done there. Take a look at that fight recap. Heck of a lot of gold, about 14 to 1,500 going his way. And that is the way that you want to start if you're a Venomancer.
And that was only... It would have been worse if not for Doom getting what looked to be a solo kill on bottom lane on the Tusk. Doom's on cooldown, so he would have used the ultimate and Scorched Earth to secure that kill. But that mid lane was just so well played by Secret. In goes Yoki, though. He just respawned and had a Fire Remnant still there. He's getting baited, though.
Oh, God, it's not looking good. Fade Bolt not going to be enough. Snowball comes in as well. No, he's going to end up going down yet again. Oh, lift one more time. Maybe going to be able to make it happen. Shane's get tossed as well, but he ends up falling. Venomancer now just completely and totally tearing apart the team. We're looking at 13 kills in 8 minutes. This has been a crazy action-packed game so far.
He's having really big problems moving around using the Fire Remnant. It feels like he needs to have the Fire Remnant up before he goes in, or he just has no way of escaping because the Fire Remnant only moves as fast as you move.
Aloha Dance is going to end up falling yet again. Oh, Shallow Grave coming out last second. Is the TOT going to finish him off? Maybe Misery going to be able to make his way away. It does end up taking him out. So Rubik falls to the Venomancer DOT. Meanwhile, Resolution wanting to make a little bit of action happen here in the mid lane yet again, but he's running into 3 heroes. This is not going to be good at all. Falling down really low. That's going to be another kill. Resolution ends up going down at nighttime, no less.
Puppey has fully justified this Thunderstrike build. He is just being able to spam it out, dish out huge damage as a support, and there hasn't really been any scenarios where I'm like, oh, if he had a couple extra points in Glimpse there and more range, it would have been able to do more, but
yeah,
it's just been the damage output they've needed. They've got plenty of lockdown and control coming from Tusk, the Venomancer slows, and the damage has just been more than justified.
It just seems like the rotations have been so solid on both sides of the team. And you mentioned it, the Thunderstrike there as well. You know, new meta, we're in the new meta. Why not? Let's make it happen. Does also have here just the boots up, I believe. Oh, Ancient Apparition. The other thing that's been cool about this is while all this action has been happening down bot, Ancient Apparition's been able to pick up levels against this Doom. And so he's sitting on level 4 now. He's going to be able to try and work his way towards that Ice Blast. And I feel like they're going to be in a really good position if they're able to get that up on him pretty soon here. Also, the slow siege in the mid lane from Weeha with these wards is just the most annoying thing in the world.
Ganking him is just a nightmare, and Yoku's constantly in trouble. He, again, gets galed. And whenever he's being galed and hit by the Poison Sting, you can't cast a Fire Remnant and expect it to suddenly zip you out of there. You have to have a pre-cast one, otherwise it's just not moving at a pace where you're going to stay alive. So constantly under pressure in this mid lane. Down to about 100 HP there just from that one Gale plus Poison Sting. The Gale is now already maxed out. We are level 10 10 minutes in the game with the help of those kills and more importantly the Midas now is 5-1. He is crushing Yoku here.
Yeah, he is going crazy, and it has 5,700 net worth right now, the highest in the game. Doom is the only one that's even close at this point, and I just feel like as this keeps on going on further and further, it's going to be the item advantage that you're going to be able to get. They do have a pretty decent amount of, I mean, if you take a look at the team net worth in EXP right now, Secret pretty far ahead, 2,000 roughly, as well as 1,000 in the bank in terms of net worth. It's looking really good for them, and I feel like the early advantage is what they've been trying to build this into. Oh, up top, they do drop the static storm on top of Resolution. He should be able to stay alive through this, though. I think that was just a defensive to keep Puppey alive. Didn't want to end up feeding away this lead to Resolution at all.
That's just something we haven't even really taken into consideration with all the action happening. There is a farming Naga Siren in this game. That hasn't been farming particularly well, did have a really rough lane, but is still sitting at a kind of acceptable place. We're not looking at a fast 15, 16-minute Radiance by any means, but Jackie is just going to get all the space in the world because his teammates can fight without him. Veno now has level 2 Poison Nova, Ice Blast is online, Disruptor's dishing out some big damage. That's just where they don't need Jackie to have any items right now. If anything, it's going to be you farm while we fight, even if that means we're fighting 4v5.
And I think that that's just, it's terrifying because once you end up getting that Radiance online, obviously your farm just incredibly powerful. You're going to be able to move around the map consistently, push on out the lanes. Do you think that this is one of those ones where you go for travels first after Radiance?
I think absolutely. It just works so well with the Radiance being able to move around the map, and the shorter cooldown now compared to your TP scroll makes it just the ideal item for a Naga.
And I feel like there's no pressure to be able to pick up another item to have to fight with your team, which is pretty cool. We do have a smoke coming on up. 3 men rotating on through into mid lane. Looks like Empire wants to turn this one back around here. The Doom is in the area as well. Should have it back up. And I think that they, well, you know what, though? Is another secondary smoke coming out. They're going to run into each other. Ships in the night. Oh, Yoku in a little bit of... No, actually, Puppey's in some trouble now. Static Storm does catch on to 2, though. Gale catches Poison Nova coming out. Are we going to have enough follow-up? There's the AA Blast. Yoku might fall down to this one. One more hit. That's going to be enough to kill him. Meanwhile, this Doom on top of Weehaw, he's gone really low as well. Tusk takes out the Doom in return, and it looks like they might be able to get the deny on Weehaw if they get there quick enough. Misery falling low as well. Resolution ends up getting the last hit there on the Tusk. And actually, Weehaw able to bottle back through after the Doom duration ends up expiring. So still staying alive. Is getting really low, though. It needs to make his way away before he ends up getting taken out here.
Resolution may be a little careful. There's another Ice Blast in a couple of seconds here.
That is terrifying.
Needs to retreat probably fairly soon. Doesn't look like Pie's going to throw it right away.
But again, we talk... Oh, there it is. Is this actually going to kill him? Are you kidding me?
Wow. He was under the tower, too. He had... if he's watching the minimap, you see that one coming.
Oh, God. That's really not good.
Unfortunate.
Jeez. And Ember now trying to make his way away as well.
Yeah.
But again, it's so much room for this Naga here, who's consistently being able to get the free farm up in the top lane, and you give that to a Naga Siren. Doesn't matter who's playing it at all, and obviously that'll end up being one of the best in the game at being able to farm on up, as we mentioned earlier in that draft.
A 4v5 teamfight going the way of Secret in the mid lane there. That's the crazy thing. And Weeha's not exactly got good fighting items. He went for a Boots to travel after the Midas, so great kind of farming build and just general build to kind of really power level and power farm, but it doesn't help you fight right now particularly.
He's got less than 1,000 HP.
Yeah. The attack speed doesn't help. The Boots of Travel help a little bit if you're getting slowed down in a fight with the extra movement speed to escape, but realistically, you'd be much better off having like a point booster and building towards your Ags for all the stats and HP you get. Not to say he's doing the wrong build, it's very much like, this is not a team fighting build, but it works because he's so high level. Just having level 2 Poison Nova and the synergy with the Ice Blast and the lockdown that Puppey and Misery can provide with the Kinetic Field, the Snowball, the Walrus Punch, it's working out just fine.
Yeah, meanwhile as well, off to the side, Dazzle able to deny the tower up top, which does help. Being able to slow down that gold gain a little bit, but still, you're losing towers at this point in time. You're not having the Naga Siren in the fights. You've also got the fact that you're going for, essentially, as we've mentioned, the most greedy build that you could possibly go on this lineup, and they're still taking these fights. It's looking very, very deadly at this point in time for Team Empire and their ability to close on out this game, because the longer it goes, it's really not going to get a whole lot better. It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, their timing window to me is very much the next 5 minutes of this game. From now till about 20 minutes. Yoku's gone for the drums build on Ember Spirit, so he's not even going to have... Like, sometimes you see if you're like, okay, I need to go more late game, let's just get a Ring of Aquila and then build towards my Battle Fury as early as possible, but he's not looking at a good time on that. So they need to be using all their smokes,
Ooh.
constant ganks, constant action, and looks like they
Top
may have
line
found one.
Envy. That's going to be a jump forward. Is going to be able to take him out really quickly here. Nicely done there. Night Stalker ends up picking up the last hit. Static Storm was dropped as well as Kinetic Field, but with no follow-up. Puppy might be in a little bit of trouble here as well. No glimpse back up for another couple seconds. Silenced up. Earn charge down as well. That's going to be a couple more right clicks. Maybe going to be able to bait this one in. Poison Nova ends up hitting onto several as well. This is not the team fight, I'm sure, if they want to take. Steals the Poison Nova as well. Weeha dropping low. There's a Shallow Grave on top of the roof, but keep him alive. He's going to end up TPing away as well. That's a Walrus Punch. He's going to end up falling. Nicely done. And the turnaround triple kill now for this Night Stalker, who is dropping a little bit low, but with the earn charge should stay alive a little bit longer.
That could have just been a 1-for-nothing, and Secret committed to fight, and it's going to turn into a team wipe.
Misery dropping low. He's going to snowball. I think that he's going to be able to still get this kill, though, honestly. One more hit. Walrus Punch. No, he turns it around. Shards Walrus Punch. Well, Misery making it happen. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, Misery says, what do you know, GoDz? It's not team wipe. This is easy kill.
Yeah, that was definitely, like, that's a huge one, because you end up just getting that huge streak on the Night Stalker, and then all of a sudden, it ends up all going for naught. Silent is up here following. Stalking Puppy. The Sentry Ward, Doom down on top of him. I think that this is a very dead Puppy. Not something anybody wants to see.
That's cruel.
I have to say, also, I just feel like that team fight was pretty much the best that it could have gone right there for Empire, but then it ended up sort of falling apart at the end with the disengage. And like you mentioned, the fact that they have this window right now to be able to make this happen, it was pretty much the best that you could have hoped for, and it still ended up working. What do you think Empire needs to do at this point to get back into this game?
I think they want to keep on fighting, ganking. Unfortunately, it's now daytime, but I think they go with the next darkness. 90 seconds away, it's some time. Ideally, they want to be using their smokes, kind of as mentioned. They've only got one left, which is where they've got to time this well, and I think going for a smoke gank before they have nighttime may be an issue.
Resolution doesn't get hit by the AA boss. Oh, he did actually. Never mind. That was the Walrus Punch effect. Never mind. He didn't. Snowball in on top of Misery again. Rubik's Steel and Spells Abound is going to be able to bring him on back here as well. That's going to be a Void as well as the Silence. Crippling Field going down on top of Misery. They're going to disengage now with the Venomancer coming in. Those Boots of Travel not wanting to make it happen. They do have a little bit of help now as well. This might be an opportunity for the first song of the game if they want to try and catch him out. Is going to not opt to do it so far, and it looks like they're going to be content to just let Empire walk away from this one at least.
For Empire, they're holding on to Yoku's TP. He wants to try to take the Tier 1 tower and then have an engage at the top lane if possible. Or at least to force rotations towards him, but it may be too many heroes for him to handle.
Uh-oh, jump forward. Static Storm on top of Yoku. He's getting really low now. Is going to end up getting glimpsed on back into the Static Storm one more time again. He falls to the Disruptor. Making things happen across the map.
That was a great TP, just coordination from Misery and Puppy. TP's in as the Snowball Walrus Punch happens and hits him with the Silence instantly.
Definitely. Oh, Snowball in again. Oh, that's just creeps. He just wants to farm. Well, Dance wants to get in on the action as well. We do have some more stuff. Every single time I look around, just Weeha's just hitting somebody continually with these poison touches and gales. It's just awful. I hate playing against Venomancers so much. And
especially for a Night Stalker, you're trying to use your movement speed at nighttime as one of your biggest advantages over your opponent, but Venomancer can just negate that.
Well, and you mentioned it, the Ember as well. It just messes with all of these heroes and their ability to make anything happen. The Remnants it's a thing where you normally expect to be able to get away from these type of situations, and when you get galed, you just can't. The Remnant doesn't move fast enough. Night Stalker picking up his Agnum Scepter as well. Does look like they're going to come and try and find Weeha yet again. No, not going to be able to make it happen so far. And I guess they're just wanting to make it nighttime a little bit longer. Maybe find a kill here in a second.
I think it was about to become nighttime in the next minute or so he can just pop this now, and then when it ends, it will be nighttime as well.
On lane, Puppy falling low is going to end up getting taken out there. Nicely done. Gale on top of him yet again. So
270 movement speed at nighttime. That's cripples you.
Yeah. It cripples you and it fills you with fear. Is that what you're saying? Not usually what Night Stalker's accustomed to.
He's meant to be the one dishing out the crippling fear. What is this? Well, look, please.
Exactly. Let's take a look at the team net worth for a second. Secret, despite the fact that it feels like they're in control of this game, only a 1,500 net worth, and EXP it's only about 1,000. Do you think that this is going to really start to switch around here in a little bit, though? It kind of feels that way.
It can if the game plays out at a slow pace where both teams play a farm game that's more passive, but Empire will not look to play that game. They've got the Ag Scepter on Resolution. It's time for them to constantly fight. They'll look to pick up a gem as early as they can afford it just to get map control away from Team Secret.
Oh god, that's Static Storm's song as well on top of him. Aloha Dance ends up getting caught. Looks like Silent's going to be able to make his way away, but Naga Siren picks up that kill, having her Radiance. No song now for this next team fight. It looks like Empire wants to try and push the tempo here a little bit, but with Rubik down, he's been able to have a big impact in these fights. Do you think that they still should take this one?
They can. They've got Doom, and Shadowblade Initiation is available for Silent if he wants to go charging in with that, although has been scattered out by the creep wave and needs to be a little bit careful here. Playing very confidently with the Scorched Earth up, but once that wears off, we may see a secret engagement.
Oh, Yoku here is going to be able to lay down the chains if he wants. Snowball down onto Silence. That's going to be a chains on the Disruptor on the back line. That's going to end up taking him down really quickly. Glimpse back, not going to be enough. Ember Spirit takes him out. Meanwhile, the Venomancer kills Puppy, or Doom, excuse me. Jump forward again. AA Blast trying to make their way away if possible. It's not looking good at this point for Empire. Resolution ends up getting caught out as well. He's going to fall in a second. I believe No Fear tried to grave him, but I think he's going to end up dying, and might die for his trouble as well. No Fear goes down. Tusk with the double kill, and they only end up losing the Disruptor.
Silent just like ran in. He was so confident in Empire's strength right now at this stage of the game that he tanked the tower, tanked like 4 heroes, and he only barely got the Doom off. He was lucky to actually get Doom off in that fight, and I don't know why he was just running from behind the tier 1 top tower underneath it into 4 heroes, because that to me was what really cost Empire there, just having him run in way too cocky, and the backup wasn't really there for him. No one's got BKBs. Nightstalker can't just run in and expect to stay alive. He doesn't want to get galed and slowed down, and as a result, Secret just kind of sit back and wait for Empire to get too aggressive. And I think Secret know they're going to play super aggressive because the late game does not look good for Empire. That's where Secret just have to sit back and wait for those kind of mistakes.
Definitely. And again, you ended up seeing that in that last situation, the last team fight. You got a decent initiation in terms of the Ember Spirit being able to pick off Tuppy, but he was able to get off his spells still to a large extent. And I think that you need to be able to find and take him out as well as the Ancient Apparition at the start of these fights, because if an AA Blast comes out, and again, Resolution getting galed, it is going to be a Void on top of him, slows a bound. It looks like he's going to be fine, though. Can't really fight into this. And with a little bit of help coming in from the side as well, Misery is invisible. Be able to find something here. Looking for his opening. If he's able to take out Dazzle pretty quickly, AA Blast, oh, he ends up falling down. Tusk gets the kill with the AA Blast coming in simultaneously. So difficult to be able to fight into that.
Yeah, that's easy pickings, and they're just going to keep on throwing those Ice Blasts around. Pi doesn't even want to come to fights. He wants to be further away, looking for these snipes and looking to maximize the AoE coming out from that, and I like this pickup. Envy has picked up an early gem on Naga, wanting to counter the Shadowblade initiations of Doom, and
it looks like they're going to be able to get the Static Storm on Yoku right from the start. Ember Spirit getting separated from his team. Meanwhile, Pi up in the top lane, getting taken out as the Ancient Apparition. So trading heroes so far, but not sure if it's an even trade. Meanwhile, the Doom getting chased down as well by the Snowball. They're trying to catch out Resolution as well at the same time. Fights going across the map. Misery ends up getting doomed up as well. It looks like Silent's going to be able to make his way away. Downline in the bottom by the Rune. Jackie is going to have to run away as well. So at the end of the day, you only end up losing the Ancient Apparition for the Naga, and it doesn't look like they're really going to be able to find anything else here.
Yeah. Probably forced to use the Glimpse to try and keep Tusk alive there. Otherwise, they could have been able to just chase him down, stop his TP out. He kind of allowed him to TP out by using his only ability to cancel that. But it's still, to me, a fine trade for Secret. It's a even trade, and they get to fall back and farm. They're putting Empire in the back foot. It's now daytime as well, so it's going to slow down any potential aggression coming out from Empire. And again, it just doesn't feel like Empire are going to get too much stronger or scale too well. Doom is a great late game hero in his own ways, even as a spellcaster with an Aghanims, with a Shivers. You can go for the AC build. He's got the Critical Strike and Pack Leader's Aura from the Alpha Wolf, so there is potential for a Doom to scale to late game. Just does not match up well against Naga Siren. You're never going to get the Doom off on the real Naga Siren, especially when Jackie's got Gem.
Yeah, he's so ready for it. I think you're right that, you know, we ended up talking about what we might see out of the Naga in terms of the pickups, and obviously Boots of Travel increasing the farm. It feels like this next item, it's still allowing the rest of your team to be able to do the majority of the damage, because they don't need a ton of damage from everybody else because of the way that they started out this game. And instead, it's just creating that extra little bit of tactical advantage of sort of balancing out against what the Night Stalkers bring into the table in terms of his Aghanim Scepter. So pretty cool there. I like that a lot. And Looks like they're just looking to see if they can find anybody over here to the side, but Nightstalker not going to be able to get any pickoffs at this point in time.
And the great thing about the secret draft is that the damage output comes from the spellcasters, the Veno, the AA, the Disruptor. Envy doesn't need to go for any kind of real DPS. He just needs to tank up, stay alive, and have annoying illusions, split pushing and right-clicking supports. You make an illusion, you just right-click Rubik with one, right-click Dazzle with another, and suddenly they've got these Radiance illusions riptiding them, and if they get hit by an Ice Blast or Venomancer, Poison Sting, Poison Nova kind of combo, they are 100% dead. So I imagine Jackie will just go into the standard Manta, into Octarine, may even get Octarine called before the Manta just because of how much HP and bonus mana pool it gives you, but regardless of the build from Jackie, he never really needs that DPS from like a Butterfly Diffusal. It's just going to be pure survivability for his illusions.
It'll be very interesting to see how this goes. We do have Doom down here as well. Is going to be Shadow Bladed up, but I think that recognizing the fact that the rest of the team is in the jungle, a little bit too scary to move on into there. Yep. I do also like the Blink Dagger pickup by Rubik. I think it helps, but again, it's a little bit tough because of the Radiance Burn, being able to make the effective use of that. He is going to be able to get away from the Snowball at the very least, and Aloha Dance finding his way away at this point in time. I'm curious to see these next couple of minutes, which type of fights they have, because you mentioned there the sort of Empire wanting to be aggressive and make the fights happen. It becomes a little bit difficult once you start to get these other items up on Team Secret now, and I'm almost feel like if they don't make something happen in the next like 1 or 2 minutes here, it's just going to be done.
Yeah. And on top of that, it's hard to be aggressive when you've lost the vision game. Your opponents have a gem, they've got Naga Siren Illusions, Venomancer Plague Wards, the Tusk Sigil if they want, moving around and scouting. Resolution did end up picking up a gem of his own, so they're going to look to try and take back some of that control, but all of those spells I mentioned, you can have those up, and it doesn't matter if you get dewarded if you've got illusions from Naga scouting out the whole map. So they've got to use what they can at the right time, and that's the smokes. They're going to go for it now with the Ags Gem, Nightstalker leading the charge, hoping to find a key objective or a key pickoff here.
Naga Siren going to be over there as well, taking a little bit of Radiance Burn damage on these heroes as they smoke on up. They're not going to find anybody, though. A little bit too unfortunate, and again, it's just they're not quite able to keep up with the movement that we've been seeing here out of Secret, consistently being aware of where the heroes are and where they could potentially be. I think that to a large extent, when you end up playing at this level, you've got sort of an internal game sense of where the heroes probably are. You don't see them on the map for a little bit. You imagine there's a smoke coming up, and it looks like, I don't think they can go for, are they going for Roche right now?
I think they will. They see everyone on Empire rock up top lane. Yeah. Empire have no tier 1 tower mid to TP2 to come and contest this. It has reached nighttime, but Naga Illusions will push up mid, push up bottom, and you can, yeah, take Roche uncontested. Jeez. Empire, like you say, they've got that little internal map vision kind of going on. They may suspect this is going on, but as soon as they show themselves top, they're like, well, if they're at Roche, we can't get there in time. So our best bet is to just keep on pushing, try and take a tier 2 tower here, but ultimately Team Secret with an Aegis, they don't care about a tier 1 and a tier 2 too much. They're much more looking at the big picture, the long-term victory, which is going to come from getting more farm on the Naga. Oh. As I say that, they're engaging.
Yeah, Song is only going to catch Silent, thankfully, but we do have off to the side here as well. Resolution might opt to come on in. There's going to be the Static Storm on top of him, taking a heck of a lot of damage. Thunderstrike down as well. We did see the Venomancer ulti go out on top of the Night Stalker, I believe. Might have just been a Gale, but they end up catching out and killing the Doom there. And also the Dazzle as well. Very, very frustrating up in the top lane. Misery looking for a little bit more, seeing if he can potentially find it. Resolution really, really low after that one.
Yeah, and they're still hunting with Misery on the front lines here. Needs to be careful because he's been scouted. He's completely alone too.
Ends up getting caught out. Crippling Fear down on top of him. Is he going to be able to stay alive? Oh god, get the Snowball. Not able to make it happen. We do see the Night Stalker end up ending his dominating streak. So they're in a little bit of trouble now off to the side. They do end up getting vision. Glimpse on back. Resolution's going to end up going down here. So a little bit of a trade. They end up losing the Tusk.
They lost their gem.
Oh no.
Yep. That's a huge pick-up. The Tusk for the Night Stalker is like, okay, not too bad for Empire, but when you lose your gem, that makes life very difficult because they cannot buy a new one anytime soon.
Yeah. Really, really unfortunate. We have the split push coming out up in the bottom lane as well. And we've talked this whole game about vision and being able to have that advantage. Definitely frustrating to lose that one there. Aloha Dance pushing out this bottom lane as well. It feels like now they're in a really strong position. Do you think that Secret wants to try and push down these towers and take the fight to them, or do they keep playing the passive farming game here?
They'll look to... They're not going to group up as 5 and push. They'll continue to... Probably not... It's no longer going to be passive farming from Eternal Envy. He's going to be pressuring lanes very heavily. He's going to be sending out these illusions, which he can spam now with an Octarine Core. And by pushing out all the lanes, it leads to pick-off opportunities because Empire will be split up. They'll have to have one hero defending the top lane, another hero defending mid or bottom. By split pushing all the lanes, it's just going to create openings for Misery to find the Shadowblade kills. We're seeing it here. He's found Silent, and this has largely come from the split push. It may not be a kill on Silent here, but they're doing some good damage, and it looks like with the cold feet, here comes Weehar and a nice blast. They found the pick-off, so you're constantly dealing with split push, and that's where pick-off opportunities will just present themselves.
Looks like Misery here actually might need to get denied. Does end up getting that last tick. The last tick would have been enough to kill him, so Ancient Apparition putting that one out. It's looking close. I think that he did end up using Doom there as well, so there's still more and more opportunities here to just continue to push on down. They're not really afraid of anything. Is there, I guess, getting the Naga picked off is the really only thing that they need to be worried about, is Silence on top of her,
and that can, I'd say, happen if Empire find the right engagement with a smoke gank. If they can smoke up, find Vision of Envy using the Night Stalker, which is about to happen, actually. This is without a smoke. Radiant Vision doesn't see Envy yet. It looks like Yoku's going to walk in. They need damage as well. The problem is Envy also has 1700 HP.
Oh, God. They end up catching Yoku there with the song. That's going to be a disruption ulti on top of him as well. He's going to end up falling here. So frustrating. Like you said, it was really close to being able to turn that around, and if it looked like the Night Stalker was just walking away a little bit too fast, and his vision didn't quite catch eyes on that Naga. A little bit of unluck there, as well as everything else that's been going on this game.
And it's not just the Naga who's the problem. The top net worth hero is actually Weehar on Veno, who's now got Blink, Ags, and Veil. Level 9. The levels, it's more about just being level 16, but he is level 19, so he's got a ton of HP and stats. He's the Aegis holder, and a Venomancer in the late game with an Ag Scepter is just a huge problem. You haven't got any BKBs up yet. There will be one soon on the Doom, as well as the Night Stalker. Ember's just a hero who never really farms a BKB, and if he gets hit by that Poison Nova, he's in trouble.
Ooh, jump forward yet again. Aloha Dance dropping low. Is going to end up using all of his ultis. That's the stolen Plague Wards, though. Not going to be enough to really turn this around. Does get graved there by Dazzle. Also see a weave down as well, but the DOT should be able to finish off Rubik here in just a second. Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, we do see Misery on top of Resolution, trying to create a little bit of separation for him with the TP not able to happen. Tusk gets the last hit. So that's 2 heroes down now, and Secret looking to be in a commanding position, just rolling down the mid tower. They've had enough. They want to really take this one to the throat.
Yeah. The Aegis will expire soon, but it's not an issue at all for them. Veno doesn't really come close to dying, and if they go on him, it just sets him up for a huge Poison Nova, which comes up any second now.
Oh, God. Song down on top of him. They catch 2 in the Static Storm, as well as the Kinetic Field. There's the AA Blast coming as well. BKB is up, keeping him alive a little bit longer, but I think that Yoku's going to end up going down in just a second here. Naga Siren able to get the kill there on top of the Ember Spirit. Meanwhile, the Doom ends up taking out the Disruptor, trying to chase a little bit more. He's actually a tanky monster. Doom with the double kill, Gem on the ground. Oh, my goodness. Making it happen. Team Empire bringing it back a little bit there.
I don't think they'd seen Doom with Doom's BKB yet. If they'd called the BKB on Doom, they wouldn't have gone for that kill, I want to say. Because that was what led to their demise there. Jumping in, expecting that because they had the Disruptor Silence comboed with an Ice Blast, they can just walk all over Team Empire. But the Doom BKB caught him by surprise. And then Veno also had no ulti.
Yeah. I think also there as well, you saw the Aegis expire him right as the Sleight of Fist damage was coming out.
That was brutal.
And he had no mana either.
Because that Aegis heal is almost instant. You go from being like a quarter HP to full HP in less than a second, it feels like. And the exact Sleight of Fist timing, like that's, you can know the Aegis timing, but if you use Sleight of Fist, it depends like which unit you hit in which order.
Yeah.
That was some serious RNG coming out from Ember Spirit, but hey.
They got to get something.
Yeah. That's it. To win this game, they're going to need that and a bit more. But
there's still, I mean, it's you take a look at the net worth. It's about 7,500 that ended up being cut into a little bit more further on in the game. EXP as well, 8,000. So it's a lead. It's not insurmountable. It just feels like they don't necessarily have the pieces. That being said, we haven't talked about it a ton. Ember Spirit in the late game can become sort of a damage nightmare in terms of what he's able to deal out, mainly once you get those items up. Already having the Battle Fury and the little mini crit. Not a ton, but not terrible either. He's only 1,000 net worth behind the Naga Siren.
Yeah, and he's going pure damage, which I think is the right way to play this when you're behind like this. If you go for a defensive build, yeah, you can stay alive with a BKB or a Manta or whatever it may be, or some extra HP from a Skadi, but you're never going to win a fight without damage. You just have to go all in, play that high-risk, high-reward style where you go on pure DPS, Battle Fury Daedalus. Could now go for that defensive BKB to deal with the Veno AA, but I wouldn't even mind seeing him get another damage item and hope that he can play around the secret aggression just using the Fire Remnants. Not get caught by a Disruptor Silence, try and avoid the Poison Nova, the Ice Blast using these, but
it's one of those things I feel like where you're playing to win versus playing to lose with grace, where you end up not getting killed a ton of times.
Yeah, it's like if he dies 3 times in the next 5 minutes, it's like, well, you can easily say, oh, he should have bought a BKB and he would have lived 2 of those 3 times, but it's a game-losing BKB. That's Lumi used to cast would always talk about these game-losing BKBs where, yeah, it keeps you alive, but what are you actually doing while BKB'd? And in the case of Ember, it wouldn't be very much.
Does look like Silent here might be able to catch out Puppey with the Shadowblade initiation jump forward. Doesn't even have to use Doom, just torn apart. So this Doom is starting to really turn things back around at this point in time. He's the second highest in net worth, only 600 gold behind the Venomancer.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit of a turnaround here. BKB's got his little plate mail up as well. Might be building that into a Shiva's Guard next as well. It's looking decent. It's looking pretty decent here.
Silent is scary with his level of farm, so is potential for Empire in the late game. It's always going to be that Naga split push game that is such a nightmare to deal with. And Jackie, Manta style en route very soon. So he'll have the Manta Octarine, which is where you've kind of reached that critical mass of how do you stop the split push of the illusions.
Oh, this is a little bit of a bad initiation, I feel like, for Radiant. They don't want to be here right now.
Oh,
Resolution jump forward. Oh, catching, actually, that's going to be a jump forward Walrus Punch, keeping them alive a little bit longer. There's the song coming out. Going to be able to keep them stuck in place a little bit longer. Silent separated.
Going to be very close to going down. I think he should be all right here, but yeah, he'll get to the fountain.
Oh, man.
They almost got the Venomancer. That was the key thing there. Doom wanted to hold on to his ultimate as long as possible and save it for the Naga. Unfortunately, Veno just didn't go down, but Stolen Poison Nova, not bad, especially with a low hard hands almost having an Ag Scepter.
Oh.
All these ultimates, Disruptor, AA, Veno, Naga, they all have some pretty damn nice Ags upgrades.
This could be, I think, the game-winning item right here. You've got the possibility. It's going to come down to the play, though, honestly, and the ability to actually find a solid initiation. If they pick off Aloha Dance at the start of those fights, you're going to end up seeing the fight end very quickly, I feel like, and not really close. Well, I don't know. The BKB up on the Doom as well. It's creating opportunities.
Yeah. The duration will go down. We're still looking at 8 seconds, so it's not too bad for Silent just yet. But you get to that 50-minute, 60-minute stage of the game, and with a 5-second BKB against a Veno AA in the late game, can be rough. But hey, the answer, it's stealing that sleep, having an Ag Scepter, and just healing up your whole team.
Oh, there we go. That's the one. That's what you want to do.
Well, it helps against the Poison Nova. Unfortunately, not the Ice Blast, but
certainly. They're going to be going for Roche now. It does look like Empire know about this and are flirting with the idea of contesting, but they're not going to be able to be here in time.
Naga illusions is scattering the map everywhere.
Oh, they're going to end up going in here. Disruptor picks up the Aegis. Very interesting.
I don't mind that too much.
Oh, Resolution now. Going to be able to catch out on a Puppey. If he dies here, he's still coming back. That's going to be an A blast on the 2. Is going to be in a little bit of trouble now to the side. Song coming on out. Maybe it ends up getting stolen in a second. Resolution still taking some damage with the BKB on up. One more time again. Veno ulti comes out, hitting onto everybody. Disruptor does end up falling, but he's coming back in a second. Aloha Dance dropping low. Is going to be graved up. Maybe he makes his TP away. Meanwhile, Doom up on the top, able to take out the Ancient Apparition. Veno taking on out the Night Stalker. Naga killing Rubik. It's all going down. Dazzle. Took out the Veno. Is Puppey going to fall? He does. Yoku going mad right now. We end up seeing the only 2 people left alive, gems all over the ground. The Naga Siren and the Tusk.
Yeah, MV got doomed again. Does stay alive, but it just gives Empire such a good team fight when Naga can't use those illusions, riptides and snares to just add that little bit of extra control and firepower. So Empire hold on, and well, they're still looking like a big late game threat here. You see how these fights unravel, and this is before Rubik even has an Aghanim Scepter, so things could get even better for them when that item comes online.
I will say now that the one thing that's kind of cool is that the Naga really hasn't, while she's the top of the net worth, like we've been talking about the Geometrusite, not really going for items that are super much about fighting. Now she's picked up a Manta. She's getting a little bit more in those stats. 2,000 HP, has the ability to toss on a ton of illusions with the Octarine Core. It's so hard to push. Like, they just took the mid-tier 1 tower for Empire. So they have a lot of ways to go in terms of being able to claw their way back into this. But it kind of is feeling like if they end up winning one more big team fight, they've got the potential to push down these towers pretty quickly.
Yes, and it all comes... They've got the lineup where they're going to win the game by winning fights, killing heroes, not by just grouping up as 5 and pushing. You'll never get a chance to push as 5 into a Naga with Octarine Manta. So Empire are going to be prioritizing the team fight. If you win the team fight, then you transition to that push. And they've got to keep the lanes pushed out, because if they win a team fight on their side of the map and all the lanes are pushing in, then they're like, well, we just killed 3 heroes, only lost 1, but we can't really get anything out of it. So they want to try and keep the lanes pushed out while trying to find that opening to get a good engagement off.
Definitely. And it looks like
Ember's not a bad hero for keeping lanes pushed as well, because he can just remnant around the place as long as he doesn't get caught by Disruptor.
Does look like we've got the Deso picked up on the Tusk, the Shadow Blade as well. Aghanim Scepter up on the Disruptor. That's huge. That's going to be really, really big. The BKBs coming up suddenly become less important. Also, a little while ago, we saw Venno pick up the Sheep Stick, and with the Blink Dagger there as well, you've got a pretty solid initiation if you end up finding that Ember Spirit. It's just going to be, can you actually find him? Veil Glimpse, Disrupt. Be able to be okay. The
Disruptor Ag Scepter even stronger because you've got the Naga sleep setup. Often the problem with the Ag's upgrade is you can't glimpse people and then Disrupt ulti them, because they'll just BKB the glimpse, so you don't get the glimpse back. But with a Song setup, you're guaranteed to land that silence on anyone who gets caught by the sleep from Jackie. So you lead with the Song, follow up with the silence, and those heroes are not BKBing. That's what would have won them that fight in mid lane when Secret went for their push. If they had the Ags there, it's like, well, Doom doesn't get off his BKB.
Oh, here's the Song initiation that we've been talking about.
Puppy's at top though. He's not even here. This is not the time for Secret to fight.
It was a little bit scary there. It looked like they were thinking about it at least, but seeing the rest of Empire nearby, like there's the tier 3 tower, while still far away, was close enough to reinforce. And meanwhile, the tier 1 being down, might be able to find him. Misery ends up getting feared on up, trying to chase here yet again. That's going to be, oh my god, Resolution's going to fall really quickly here. Snowball in one more time. Static Storm down as well. That's going to be that used though, so not going to be able to fight for a little bit while longer. And Rubik stole it also, trying to continue this initiation. Doom BKB'd up. Did end up doing Jackie. No! Turn it around and one more time. Not able to quite catch. Unfortunately, Misery does end up getting cleaned up by the Ember Spirit, and Doom kills the Ancient Apparition as well. So across the board, 2 more pickoffs there just for the Night Stalker. Trying to make the reinitiation happen. Weehaw. Just continuing to mess with this Dazzle. Oh, God. And then running away yet again. Silent. Still caught over here again. Doesn't have a BKB up for a little while. Looks like they're going to be fine.
Dazzle in the Fountain. He's trying to play the heal game against Poison. He will win.
Oh, Puppy dropping really low, but they end up getting the Sheep Stick off onto Silent. Roofed up by Rubik. Silent still... He's just so freaking tanky right now. Even all the magic damage, the Veil on top of him. He's regenning through all of this. Another Song just to secure the retreat, but I don't know if they even needed that one necessarily.
Most importantly, he had a haste rune too against all those Venno slows.
Yeah.
Finding a haste rune is one of the best things that can happen to Empire at this stage of the game. They get out okay there. Venomancer re-engaging, didn't get anything out of the ulti, didn't lose his life there, but just kind of continued the fight, which didn't seem to be working too well for them. And Disruptor just finding, Rubik, sorry, finding these big steals like the Disruptor ultimate, now holding on to the kinetic field, which isn't the best. He'd rather have that Disruptor ulti again, but wants to keep on stealing fights continuously in these engagements. And Empire slowly bouncing back. We're looking at an even game on the net worth chart. That is impressive resilience coming out of Empire here.
And pretty far ahead in terms of the EXP as well. Right before that fight, Empire actually had an EXP lead going into it. So they've been able to really claw their way back into this game. And I'm wondering now, is the onus on Secret to try and make a move? Like, I don't really feel like, and they're smoking on up. It looks like they're going to be going for this pickoff. This is how it started last time, though. Resolution was able to tank through a lot of the damage. Is he going to be able to do the same yet again? Kinetic Field keeping him alive. There's the BKB. Does get ensnared. Another AA Blast coming out in just a second, and he ends up falling. 5 men on top of you. You can't really do anything against that.
caught out a bit alone, and that's where not having a gem on Night Stalker means Secret can get those engagements. All it takes is the Shadow Blade in. He's like, okay, I've got night vision. It's darkness. Darkness is up. They're not going to get the jump on me, but Shadow Blade just providing what Secret needed.
It does look like with Ember back on the top lane, he's actually moving back again now. They're going to try and slow siege down this tower a little bit, but they're not losing anything by pushing these illusions on up into here necessarily. They're just going to be able to consistently keep this pushed out. It does look like they're going to try and go for the high ground now. Silent in a little bit of trouble as well. No, Song maybe going to come out in a second. The Naga Siren was able to take down the tower, trying to create a little bit of separation here. They're going to be content with that. Maybe going to reinitiate in a second here. It's looking like they could. There's the initiation. Oh, Yoku. Oh, no. There's going to be the Static Storm in just a second. Catch on to Dazzle as well. The steal of the Song, though. Maybe a turnaround here. A-Blast coming down as well. He's keeping them alive.
Everyone.
Oh, my God. No, it's not what you wanted to have happen. Now Puppey getting chased after yet again. BKB up on the Ember as well, chasing after him one more time. That's going to be a kill. The Disruptor ends up going down, actually to the Radiant there, trying to find another one if they possibly can. Ancient Apparition dropping low. He's going to end up falling as well, and they want more. Resolution's continuing to chase down here. Oh, the Gale's going to be able to keep him alive with the Blink Dagger, but my goodness gracious, how the heck did that happen? The Song steal.
Aloha freaking dance. What a god.
I'm there like, oh, this is just the worst fight Empire could hope for, and then suddenly I hear the sleep time. I'm like, what? Rubik, you've done it?
With the AA thing, or with the Aghanim Scepter upgrade as well, so he was getting all of the heal off on him throughout the whole course of that. Really, really well played there. Goodness
that
gracious.
Was insane. That would have been a game-losing fight for Empire if not for that sleep steal.
Oh, man. And the other thing, we talked about it there. They found the Dazzle. They were able to find the Ember Spirit as well, but they couldn't find the Rubik. And this becomes, I think, probably one of the most important heroes for Ember at this point. Considering you've got such a teamfight advantage out of Secret, the ability to turn that back on their head is so important. So they need to find him in these fights every time.
And Jackie's after that is just going to be like, holy shit, I just gotta... every time he uses sleep from now on, I bet he's gonna just immediately Riptide, just so it doesn't get stolen. It'll be like, sleep, Riptide. Who cares if you hit nothing? Just make sure it does not get stolen, because that was just some game-winning stuff coming out from Aloha Dance, so...
Well, the other thing, again, though, that makes it so difficult is that if you take a look at the range on the Ags upgrade for the Rubik, while you can get it off usually in terms of being able to get the Riptide afterwards, he can stay way in the back of the fight. And if Veno tries to jump forward and get the Sheep off or potentially get the Poison Nova off, that's your Venomancer in the middle of the rest of the enemy team. And while he still probably should be able to get his Poison Nova off, that's probably, I guess, the best answer is to blink forward and try and Sheep the Rubik.
All these random gems just scattered around the map. Weehaw just like walks over one at the top river like, oh, huh, where'd that come from?
Pick up your trash.
And just leaves it there.
Yeah, there's another one over here as well. What the heck? They're all thrown out all over there. Those are valuable, guys. You got to go pick those up. Refresher up on Doom as well. A little bit of a pause coming out.
I think it was a bit of server lag. I got a bit of spikes there. I'm not sure exactly.
Goodness gracious. What a game. It's been awesome so far. We've seen, what has this been? 62 kills in just about 47 minutes, a lot of action, and usually that's not something that you end up seeing, I feel like, with a Naga Siren game, and I think that probably Empire, just based upon their team picks, ended up going for this, wanting to get up in their grill and make it happen.
And just very unpredictable fights. Like, nothing's really gone according to how you'd expect it to as far as the overall script for the two teams. Normally, like, the early game was so good for Secret, you think, okay, they've just won the early game, this Radiance is coming up for a Naga, this game should be in the bag because there's so much room and space for Envy. Like, he's just going to get this Radiance, they're going to split push and just take control of the map. But the other thing is they immediately lost the gem on the side of Empire when they killed off the Night Stalker. So I was just like, okay, Radiance is here, Octarine Core, Boots of Travel, they've lost their gem, Secret have got this. But Empire is showing that the late game power of not just their cores in the Doom and the Ember, but a hero like Rubik can match up against Secret.
Well, and I think that one team fight at the tier 3 mid for the Radiant, where they ended up revealing the BKB from Doom, and he ended up just getting like 2 or 3 kills right there. It was so huge. The ability to hide that until the last second and then toss it on out there really made that team fight turn around for them. And I felt like that was the turning point there. Sort of like, all right, big boy boots time. Let's throw them on, start making this happen. and were able to really bring it out. And now you're looking at a situation where you've got, you know, the net worth lead going into Empire's favor. You've got a huge EXP lead, 10,000 gold. Items across the board are starting to get picked up that are really high impact. And while Naga Siren is always going to be able to keep those lanes consistently pushed on out, it still becomes a problem in terms of actually fighting. And while the Diff Blade is great, the Octarine is great, the Radiance is great, I kind of feel like she needs to be able to actually have a presence in these team fights beyond just the song. And we'll see how she ends up going for that, maybe.
Yeah, and it seems in a team fight, if you're trying to use your illusions and just like put them all on someone, that's where the Ember will just cleave through them. So in a team fight setting, I can see why it is tough for Envy to have an impact outside of the song.
Totally.
But the way this game is going is it seems more team fight centric than split push centric. You can't just have Envy split pushing the map when you're trying to group up and use that AoE wombo combo that Secret have. The Disruptive Silence, the Ice Blast, the Poison Nova. These big team fight high impact spells just can't really be used to their full effect if Envy's trying to split push only.
Well, and he's been able to consistently keep the lanes pushed out. Like, he's been doing it the best job that you can imagine. Like, all of the lanes have consistently been pushed out, and that's sort of evident by the fact that we still have a tier 2 tower that's going on in the bot lane. Like, he's been able to keep them off the towers, been able to keep them off the tier 3s, despite the fact that Empire's been able to win these team fights because the lanes have been pushed out. You know, there's a couple of team fights that happened in the mid lane where they weren't able to make as much happen because bot was pushed into the tower. You end up running into the situations, well, it does help. You kind of feel like there just needs to be that one last little oomph. And maybe it's just a solid initiation by Secret and being able to find those key heroes that they need. And maybe they actually don't need anything else on the Naga, just a solid initiation.
There's been also some really big key pickups now that we're looking at it. Silent has a refresher orb for the upcoming fight on Doom. And the other item which could cause some problems, though, for Silent is this Lotus pickup for Weeha. So the Lotus is one of those... Even if you're not echoing the Doom, like you put that on at your frontliner, it's that 5-second window where they cannot be doomed. So they can put themselves in a position where they're quote-unquote out of position, but because of the Lotus Orb, he's not going to get doomed up, he's not going to get initiated on by a telekinesis, whatever it may be. So some potentially high-impact items. Ideal scenarios, you are echoing off the Doom right back onto him, but even just keeping someone alive for that little 5-second window by not having them get doomed can pay off.
Certainly. And we talked a lot about also here the drafts and the relative strengths and weaknesses of it. One thing that I don't think we touched on here for Secret is you mentioned the head frontliner. They have Tusk, they have to some extent the Naga Siren illusions, but they don't have like that Shadow Fiend or that Viper or the Razor, somebody who can just stand up on the high ground and continue to hit away at those towers. It's hard to be able to have somebody just stand up there and not get completely and totally demolished. Yeah. So I think that we saw in the mid tower they threw the illusions on there, but they were able to get pretty quickly cleaved up by the Ember. So I'm wondering if they're going to opt to do that again, maybe just send in the Naga Siren illusions one by one and have that type of ability to slow siege down these barracks. But they need something like that, some type of oomph. And
it's definitely one of the key weaknesses in this Secret draft is they're actually not that good at breaking high ground. As annoying as a Naga can be split pushing, they just haven't got that hero to break through, take a lane of racks, and they also haven't got that defensive support to just sit behind and keep them alive. Like, you look at the side of Empire where you can just constantly grave or shadow wave them. You pop the Weave is another big spell, which going into the late game can have a pretty big impact without even noticing it directly. And that's where Empire, I feel like, do have the lineup to take this. They're actually, I mean, they've clawed their way back into a lead, if anything. So Secret not really going anywhere. You've got a 6-slotted Naga. Or you've still got the gem, which you can replace, but Naga doesn't get that much scarier beyond this point. You can get that extra item to give you that more teamfight kind of carry build, but you're still not going to see a huge upgrade in how Naga stacks up against a Doom especially. You get doomed, you're out of the fight. Totally. And that's where any item Envy gets, if he's getting doomed, which seems to be the case every single time, doesn't really matter.
Well, and the other thing here, you know, after the little pause, they end up going back in and wanting to do a little smoke up. You end up looking at this. I still feel like while Empire has been able to work their way into a lead, there's going to be, I think, a lot of team fights still won by Secret if they take them outside of the base. And it looks like this might be brewing right here as well. Dazzle's a little bit caught up to the side, but Rubik isn't in the fight. This might end up being a little bit of a problem there. Ancient Apparition immediately taking down the Dazzle, but do they have the possibility to take more? Jumping forward, Silent is BK beat up. Doom on top of Puppey. There is going to be the song. He doesn't even care about that. Puppey's going to end up falling here as well. Doom ends up taking him out with the Doom.
Can they catch up to Envy? That's the key here. They want to kill him during this Axe Doom, and Silent getting slowed down by all these poisons.
Oh, God.
It's going to be close.
Frustrating. It looks like he should be able to make his way
Doom's
out.
going
Oh,
up!
he cut him! Jumps forward, is going to be able to get the kill there. No type of resolution there for Envy. He's going to end up getting taken out. Goodness gracious. Not what you want to have happen.
Silent played that fight so well. He blink engages, Dooms the Disruptor, so no Axe Silence coming out. Immediately refreshes, gets a double Shivers off, casts his second BKB so the Naga Sleep doesn't catch him, and then gets the Doom off on Envy as well. So it was just perfect play from Silent. Everything was just calculated. He got the refresher onto every single item and spell of his, and just, yeah, Empire looking strong here.
They are in a little bit of, oh my God, blink dodges. A little bit of Sixth Sense, Spidey Sense is working out for Silent there.
He had no gem detection. That was just... that was pure Spidey senses.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be going on and taking Roche there. And that's something as well, the fact that he's got all of these castable items, they do actually end up spotting off to the side here the Ancient Apparition. I think that Secret know this is going on, but with no potential for a Song Initiation, it becomes a little bit difficult.
And Night Stalker Vision is just king at this stage.
Oh God, there's the Poison Nova off onto everybody. He's going to end up falling so quickly though. Lotus Orb on top of him, it doesn't matter. Right clicks abound. Jump forward as well. Going to be able to catch on to Puppey. He's in trouble as well. Getting hit with the level death. Maybe going to be able to make his way away. There's the A Blast coming in. Going to hit onto 2. Are they going to be able to make it happen though? And it looks like they were actually able to fight off Empire from killing off their buddy, Mr. Ancient Apparition and Puppey.
Bit of an early grave, and I think Resolution will go down here. Yeah.
Oh,
if he graved later, I think he would have survived, but not everything. That was just like a suicidal initiation from Weeha, though. He must have known, like, blinking into the pit with Poison Nova, that he was never going to survive that one. And unfortunately, the Ice Blast wasn't ready. It didn't come until later as a follow-up.
Yeah. I think that they were just concerned about how long it was before Roche was going to go down and if they were going to be able to take the fight, I would imagine. But a little bit of potential miscommunication there, maybe. Not really. Like, how big is that Aegis at this point in time in this game?
For a hero like Ember, I think it's pretty important because it gives him that breathing room where if he gets caught out by his Sleep Silence, you look at that mid-fight, he only survived an Empire win that fight because of a sick play from a low high dance. You can't rely on Sleep getting stolen when it's happened once especially. It's very unlikely to happen a second time because Envy will be ready for it and will be insta-casting a spell next time he uses Sleep. So there's a very good chance Yoku could get caught out by a Sleep into a Silence combo, not get a chance to BKB and go down. And that's where Aegis on Ember Spirit, I think, is going to give Empire like a 5-minute window now where they can play much more aggressively.
Certainly. It is worth noting that we do see the Scotty picked up for the Naga Siren here. So starting to get a little bit more tanky, starting to get a little bit more damage. Also an MKB is up on the Ember Spirit. So he's going to be able to hit on through that 17% that can completely and totally mess up your day with that Radiance burn. And I think that those are pretty solid pickups there. I really like the Scotty because it means that illusions are going to be hitting a little bit harder. The trade-off obviously is that they don't stay alive as long as if you now end up going for something like a heart. What do you think about that?
The Butterfly no longer an option because of MKB, and yeah, it's either the Heart or the Scuddy, and I think I prefer the Scuddy because it's a bit more well-rounded. You get the stats so you have more agi, you get more armor, you get more attack speed. You mentioned the illusions hitting harder, so Heart is purely defensive HP for your illusions, whereas Scuddy is a bit more well-rounded, and if you're not fighting with illusions, which could often happen because of Ember clearing them out, having a Scuddy slow just is more annoying slows for these BKB heroes to deal with on the side of Empire.
Certainly. It does look like they're sort of trading places a little bit here. The smoke coming on over out from Empire, moving up to the mid lane and over towards the jungle as well, but looks like they're going to be okay. Pushing out over here to the side is Secret. They're trying to maybe force a fight. We do see Misery off to the side. He's actually spotted out by this ward. I believe they're pinging him out there. Oh, weave down on top of 3. Puppey taking a little bit of damage. BKB popped as well. Warless Punch on to the Dazzle in the back of it. Doom is in the middle of all this as well. Song of the Siren not going to be able to be enough. That is double Doom onto 2 heroes. They're in some trouble right now. Do end up getting caught off to the side. Weeha's going to end up falling. This looks like Naga's going to be dead as well. And a huge, huge team fight going the way of Empire. Resolution is going to maybe fall for this as well. No, ends up staying alive with the cheese. Oh, goodness gracious. This is not what you want to have happen at all. Misery trying to make his way away, but the rest of his team is dead.
Rex? What's happening?
Oh.
I don't know what happened down there, but it looks like at least a range Rex going down.
Goodness gracious. Oh my god, and that is a 5,000 gold swing into their favor, on top of being able to push through mid now.
Envy actually didn't have buyback until that Rax went down. That was the crazy thing as well. He was about 50 gold short, so he may have had it by the time they reached high ground, but that Rax gave him the guaranteed buyback.
Double buyback now, but none on the Naga. Do you try and force this?
Well, I think you want to try and force the Naga and ideally the Venom to buy back as well. And what Secret are going to look to do is engage with Disruptor or Tusk before they buy back. And there we go.
A blast coming out. Might be able to catch somebody. Rubik falls at the very beginning of this fight. This actually might be pretty bad here. Yoku is BKB'd up as well as the Doom. He ends up getting caught, though. Going to be able to TP away after the Ensnare ends up hitting. Ember Spirit kills the Disruptor, as I mentioned. And it looks like No Fear is going to be able to make his way away as well. Song coming out. Maybe going to be able to catch here. Actually, A ended up taking down Silent as well. Grave coming out. He is taking the DOT, though. There's no way he gets out of this one. Unless the jukes are freaking real. No, they got the sigil over him. It's going to be a dead.
So it was quad buybacks, and they get 4 kills out of it. They can go back the other way and force Empire to now buy back, which is where, yeah, that's definitely the right play for Secret. They engage and then use the buybacks as they force the fight. So Empire already committed. They've used their BKBs. They're already too deep in the enemy base, so they're forced to fight, and suddenly there's 2 extra buybacks from a Veno and a Naga, catching him by surprise. And 4 buybacks sounds like, is that really worth it? But it's going to be not just getting the kills, but forcing out Empire buybacks / taking the lane of Rax. This bottom melee Rax is completely exposed and already down to half HP.
Yeah, those illusions are hitting so hard with that Scotty-on up on her. And I think that now at this point in time, they're going to be able to take this one pretty convincingly. They're going to try and clear it out with the Ember Spirit, able to get away from that one before it ends up falling. They do miss the mid-ranged barracks, and I think that Misery's sticking around a little bit longer. They're going to try and take this one.
They're scared of buybacks, but there aren't any.
God, that damage coming out from the Ember Spirit, so severe on a Misery. This is going to be a dead melee barracks as well, so they take a lane. Maybe going to try and force a little bit more. With only a couple seconds left, I think they need to get out of here.
Kept bottom alive at least.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Yoku picked up another Battle Fury. Great against all the illusions when you're cleaving off of them, but it very much felt like he could pick up a Rapier at this point. He had that last item slot, and I'm looking at it, he had 8,000 gold. I'm just like, okay, Rapier plus buyback could be a possibility, but the safer option being the Battle Fury, and the option that's really good against the illusions of Naga.
Well, and I'm wondering, did he pick that up right before he ended up coming back into the fight as well?
Yes.
So I think he probably wanted a little bit of extra damage, like immediately.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And the courier couldn't really get to the secret shop, so it's very much a convenient item that you can fully purchase from the comfort of your own base.
Right. Very, very interesting pickup so far across the board. Dazzle also with the Aghanim Scepter. Not something that you always see, but can come up from time to time, getting the extra little bit of armor that it ends up giving, as well as the extra range on it, so you're going to be able to hit more heroes, which I think is probably the bigger component of it, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. A lot of sort of team-fighty things going on across the board. We're just continuing to see this, and the main way that these racks have been able to go down, the pushes have been able to ensue, has been by virtue of the team fights going the way of one team or the other, and then really pressuring after the fact.
Neither team can just go for a push and expect to see any results whatsoever. It's always going to be team fight, and then whoever wins the team fight taking buildings. And for Empire, losing that mid lane of racks and the range Rex bottom, I don't feel like it hurts them too hard. They're at a stage of the game where having the decreased income from killing creeps isn't going to matter. They've got most of their big items that they need to be a late game threat. Your Ember as well as Doom are both 6-slotted. Nightstalker's just going for your value Vlads at this stage. So they've got all the items they need. They also have great heroes for keeping lanes pushed out. They've been dealing with a Naga all game, so it's not really any different dealing with a Naga versus dealing with super creeps. Both are annoying, so they've got the ability to just keep on taking this game into the late game, as we've seen throughout. It's still looking very balanced between the two teams, despite the Raxus being claimed. And all it takes is Empire to win a fight right now. And Secret, buybacks on 4 heroes on cooldown. So this is a very volatile 2 to 3 minutes for Secret, where they are just going to stay huddled up in their own base and not look to move anywhere on the map.
Well, and you mentioned that you didn't think any team could try and really force a team fight or anything like that. They couldn't go as 5 and try and push down a lane of racks. I kind of feel like at this point Empire needs to do some type of pressure, apply some type of fight, because you mentioned in a couple of minutes here it's going to be Secret that have the buybacks, and then Empire is going to have the 1 or 2 that they no longer have on the other heroes. Yeah. Wait, did they buy back on anybody?
They bought back on no one?
They didn't buy back.
Wow. They 2 heroes didn't have buyback. I think it was only the Doom who had buyback.
Okay.
And Rubik and Night Stalker didn't, I want to say. Ember was alive the whole time, didn't need to use his.
Yeah, interesting. I totally thought that one of them was going to have to buy back, but I guess it didn't end up happening. Really helpful then. So they definitely want to pressure now if they possibly can, because they have them and the rest of the enemy team does not. Particularly Ember Spirit, I feel like, is such a great hero for being able to have that, because if you toss out a Remnant beforehand, you buy back, you get right back into the fight. It's really great.
And that's where a team fight right now, it could effectively be a 7v5, 8v5 kind of scenario. So Secret should be looking, by all means, to avoid any potential conflict. And Roshan respawning in 15 could be nice for like some of these key supports. We saw Disruptor take an Aegis earlier, and I feel Rubik would actually be the Aegis carrier if Empire could grab an Aegis.
Okay.
If not just a cheese. But keeping Dazzle and Rubik alive is very important, because if that hero gets jumped like a Dazzle, that's suddenly no more Grave in that team fight. So
the consistent split push right here is so great out of this Naga Siren.
Yeah.
They're knocking on the front door and immediately have to go on back to try and heal on up and make sure they're in the correct position. And now you're going to be able to see the mid lane get pushed out so hard to be able to push against this Naga Siren. And they need to take a team fight, and Secret just aren't going to let it happen. While you do have the vision advantage coming out from the Night Stalker, and you do have, you know, the ability to take those team fights that you want during the nighttime, you've still got the problem that Secret's going to be able to disengage a lot of the time with songs. They're going to be able to just keep their heroes spread around the map. Because even if you end up losing one hero on Secret, I feel like right now, they're still going to be in an okay position to be able to defend still. Going for Roshan now as well. Ready for a little bit of action coming out.
yeah. See, talked about Empire, who they want to give it to. I think Secret's a similar story where it's more likely to be some of the supports and utility heroes. Tusk could take probably the Aegis. I guess Cheese is also possible.
Song is out now. It's going to catch on to Resolution.
May have been too early. Roshan's not that low.
Oh, Rubik stole it as well. They're going to try and force this one if they possibly can. That's going to be Jackie getting caught out to the side. There's going to be a couple Evolutions out. A Blast coming as well. Going to be able to be dodged, I believe. No, not dodged by the Ember Spirit. Continuing to chase Doom down on top as well. Naga Siren's going to end up falling. Ember Spirit gets the last hit now. Maybe going to be able to have more? No, just going to opt to back out. And that is a huge kill. No buyback for
It's
only
just
3
come back
seconds.
up, yeah. All 4 of those buybacks which were used have just come back online, which is where Secret did risk a Roshan, because they knew if it went badly, they buy back.
Oh, here we go. Puppy lays down the kinetic field onto a couple there as well. Static Storm coming down. Jackie falling low, though, ends up getting taken out by the Doom. So frustrating. Aegis gets picked up by the Venomancer. No, by the Night Stalker, excuse me.
Ember's buying back. They want to end this game.
They're coming out again. Aegis is popped by the Night Stalker. They might be looking for a little bit more here yet again. Couple of buybacks.
Veno doesn't have his, though. It just came back up, and he's 300 gold short. If Veno had buyback, like, you could be looking at potential for a decent Rax hold. There's still a long way to push these creep waves. That's where Silent just TP back. I'm like, wait, Silent, why are you TPing away from the tier 3 tower back to your own base? I'm like, oh, there's a creep wave knocking at their mid lane of Rax / tier 4 tower, so they've got to push this out. Yeah.
Oh, there's the Rapier. We're doing it.
Yep.
It's time, boys. All right, they're up on the high ground now.
No boots, Dota.
Who needs
He
boots?
moves so... The Ice Vortex! 217 movement speed in an Ice Vortex.
Oh, God.
Are they straight for the throne here, or do they stop by and take the Rax?
I think they could go whichever way that they want. Dodging away from that Ice Blast as well. I kind of feel like maybe they just go straight throne.
Yeah.
They're going for it. Why not? Going to be able to steal that Ice Vortex one more time again. We're going to bring your movement speed down. Buybacks coming out by the Disruptor. Do they have enough to hold with the Rapier up on the Ember? That's so much damage on top of that Ancient Apparition. Lift up one time onto the Disruptor. He's going to get snowballed up, though, to keep him alive a little bit longer. Resolution continuing to push forward here. That is going to be so much damage. Tusk takes down the Rubik in the end,
We has
though.
back, though. They took the bot Rax, which gave him buyback money again.
Oh, God.
That Rax may have just kept Secret in the game.
Oh, it's so frustrating. Oh,
If they
my
knew
goodness.
that Weeha had no buyback because of that melee Rax, they would just be kicking themselves like, oh my gosh. Like, that was... They could have guaranteed mid and top Rax if they wanted to. It was at least 2 lanes of Rax.
And instead just a tier 3 and a tier 4 tower. Man, that is crazy.
That was so close to them winning the game. I don't know if Veno alone not having buyback was going to mean the game was over. They could have defended without him potentially, because it took Empire a long time to reach the base because they had to push the creep waves across the map.
Yeah.
But it was definitely gave Secret that just that self-confidence they needed to say, okay, we've definitely got this hold, and Empire back off, and that's when you get these pickoffs. That's where you get the glimpse back on the Night Stalker. You find that extra kill or two. And this game still very much up in the air. I don't think Yoku can go bootsless entirely. He's just too slow against Venomancer slows, Ice Vortex. There we go. He drops a Battle Fury, picks up some brown boots, and I think we will be seeing a Boots of Travel once again when he can afford it.
That makes sense. It's so hard to, like, he's already moving so slow with all those slows, as you mentioned. And while he does have a heck of a lot of damage coming out, the Remnant speed depends upon his own speed, so you're ended up running into trouble. Battle Fury going to be picked up by the Doom.
Yeah, that's...
I guess to clear creep waves?
Clear creep waves and clear Naga illusions. He hits pretty damn hard right now with the critical strike as well.
I wonder if he just has this in, like, his inventory and then brings it out.
Well, he swaps out the refresher and, like, tries to keep the... He does need the instant refresher. Like, you want to be able to instantly refresh after Doom to get a new BKB Shivers and a second Doom. So it's... I think it's an item he'll put on himself when the refresher's on cooldown, because trying to swap out a refresher mid-team fight could lose you a game if you somehow fumble it or you're half a second too slow.
Well, and the other thing here as well that he could potentially do is when you end up having a big push up towards maybe the mid lane, you toss on out the, you get in your fight, you toss out the Doom, and then you TP back to base, swap them out, and then push out the lanes with that, keep them off of your tier 4. So doesn't even need to have them in the team fight at all, I think. Not even on the courier probably. Well, never mind, he's just going for it right now.
Yeah.
Sort of.
See him... I don't think this will be like a permanent thing. It's very much clearing out the creep waves. They're not expecting Secret to push while Naga's buyback is on cooldown, which is still for another 3 minutes, so Empire probably don't feel any sense of threat coming their way, apart from creeps and illusions. But he will need that refresher back for a team fight, guaranteed.
So who do you think is the most high priority target for the refresher here? Does it depend upon which skills have already been cast, or is there always an option?
It depends a lot on the positioning of the heroes as well. Okay. Disruptor is, to me, one of the core heroes. That pre-Static Storm, dooming a Disruptor is fine, and then I think the second Doom you want to be on Envy, which has been majority of the fights for the past 20 minutes. It's been Envy +1, and often that +1 is Disruptor. It's worth dooming the Venomancer if you can get him outside of Lotus Orb and when he hasn't cast Poison Nova, but that to me is just unlikely because Veno's always blinking in, starting the fight, and then there's not really much point to doing him. But
yeah.
I think it's more a positional thing than like there's a must-doom target. Outside of the Naga. The Naga to me is the only must-doom target in a fight.
Interesting. Yeah, I kind of feel like, well, let's see, another jump forward now. They're not going to be doing it. They're just continuing to push out these creep waves here. I don't really know, because the other thing that I'm wondering about here as well is with the Venomancer having the Blink Dagger, being able to have the Hex up as well, if it's worth being able to jump forward and catch onto the Doom and potentially lose your life afterwards. It seems like it could be worth it if you get that Poison Nova off.
He doesn't have buyback is where it's a bit risky. He'll be farming it, so 2.5 minutes from now, looking at like a normal fight where both teams have buybacks, have all their core items, there's no buybacks on cooldown, I think it is worth it for Weeha to kind of suicide himself onto the Doom. The main thing is you want to make sure you kill him, which means Poison Nova alone is not going to be enough. You need a combo with an Ice Blast and potentially even Tusk engaging as well. Misery on this Tusk is doing a lot of damage at this stage. He's not only got the Shadowblade Deso, but has picked up an AC, has 4.3k gold, is very much playing that kind of carry-oriented Tusk this game.
They see the smoke done up, I think, and they're all running on back. They don't want any part of this.
Okay, they did scout it. That's how I'm surprised to see like smokes 70 minutes in. The smokes are so rare, and this doesn't look like it's smoke that's going to achieve too much.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate that it's not going to end up working out in the favor.
They may get Vision of Misery. It looks like they have seen him.
Do they have enough to take him down, though? I guess with the Rubik here as well.
They can silence him. He can't cast anything.
Oh, that's going to actually be able to potentially be a kill here. Do we have the rotations? Well. Oh, God, yeah. The Boots of Travel level 2 coming on in. This is actually starting a team fight here in the middle of everything. Static Storm down on top of 2. Is he going to be able to continue this? Doomed onto the Venomancer, just continuing to chase here. Nice glimpse on back, though. And the Naga Siren ends up taking out the Rubik off to the side as well. Oh, Doom catching a little bit low with the Naga here as well, and Snare comes down one more time. That's a lot of damage coming out, and Naga doesn't even have to show herself at this point. That's going to be a snowball in, taking a lot of damage, and Doom is going to end up falling.
Ooh, the sleep canceled the TP from Dazzle as well.
This is going to be another one. Catches their Walrus Punch down one more time again. And Tusk taking down the Dazzle. That is huge right now. And buybacks not really on the radar at this point. The Night Stalker has one, as does the Doom, but we're not going to have the Rubik, which is so key in these engagements.
Yeah, and already down 2 lanes of Rax means for Secret, they haven't won this game until they've got Mega Creeps. It's still game on until that happens. And one buyback comes out, that's silent. Refresher Orb is still there for him. He needs to be picking this one up. I think he needs both Dooms in a team fight, one for Envy, one for someone else, because otherwise it's just not going to be enough firepower coming out of Team Empire.
I'm wondering if I guess that they're just waiting for this next set of creep waves here, but they really want to be able to take advantage of this moment, I feel like. And I guess with Doom already buying back, maybe they're content to leave it at this, but...
That was just such a crazy team fight, too, because it was a 2v1 that turned into like a 4v4 because of the level 2 Boots of Travels. I've never actually seen that happen, where a 2-man smoke gang turned into a 4v4 team fight when they only found one hero.
New mechanics, yo. Resolution now as well is going to end up coming in here. The TP away.
Rat Dota.
Oh, God, jumping forward.
It's the sleep to... He's sleeping up heroes while going for the top tier 3 tower in Rax.
Oh, jeez.
They're resorting to the classic Alliance-style plays. I like it. We're seeing everything come out from Secret here to try and win this game.
It's so hard with the ability to not really push high ground. And like we've mentioned, the fact that they've got all of this wave clear here out of Empire, it becomes so difficult to really do anything. And the only way to do it is winning team fights. But then you got buybacks and then team fights more. And they're avoiding fights because nobody has buyback. And it's so hard to pressure it and really take advantage of it. And the fact of the matter is that everybody is so far farmed right now that there's not really a huge advantage either way, I think.
Yeah, the beauty of this is they can keep chipping away at the base, which is where the tier 3 tower now just gets denied, just blocking away a little bit of gold that would have gone the way of the Naga illusions. And I think we'll keep seeing Secret try and employ this tactic where Naga just tries to sleep a few heroes while the illusions are split pushing top. You can never just group up as 5 and try and fight Empire head on at the top lane. It's always going to be the illusions split pushing, unless you've won a fight, taken some of the Empire side out already before that.
Do you think that Mega Creeps even necessarily means the game's over?
Not 100%, but 95% over.
Okay.
Empire have got Embers. They can definitely defend Mega Creeps, but it just means, are you actually playing to win the game, or are you just playing to stall the game? And to me, it's very much, it turns into a stalling game at that point.
Right.
This, like, the 98, 100+ minute game, Naga Siren is doesn't actually fight that well, can't actually finish off the game, even when you have got Mega Creeps against a hero like an Ember Spirit. But I just feel like across the board, heroes like Nightstalker are falling off. I was just about to say, Resolution with 5k gold, get a Mjolnir or get a Maelstrom just to clear out these creeps, illusions.
Yeah.
That was the item I thought Silent might get instead of the Battle Fury. It just kind of functions a bit better as far as dealing with big waves at this stage of the game, but it's going to be the Maelstrom on Nightstalker and then the Battle Fury on the Doom to deal with the creep waves, deal with the Naga illusions.
Just completely and totally encapsulated in their base at this point in time. So hard to find anything. You take a look at their vision. While they do have the one up by the Ancients, the vision comparison is just completely and totally ridiculous.
Yeah. look at Naga's stash, by the way. Oh, is that what you were laughing at?
Yeah, it's craziness. I don't know what the heck is going on here. Let's see the 20th Century Awards. Why not? Oh, Weehaw in a little bit of trouble. Does actually turn off the sheep stick. Resolution getting it. He's got allies coming in, though. They might be able to make something happen to this. BKB is popped now for the Night Stalker. Just trying to make his escape a little bit. The Ember Spirit just does so much damage to those creep waves, clearing them out with a quickness Walrus Punch. Down on top of the Night Stalker. There's the Lincoln's Orb being revealed. It looks like Resolution's actually going to go down here. The Thunder Strike, too much damage for them. Naga Siren ends up getting the last hit. And maybe they try and push for this one. There's certainly an opportunity to.
Can Pi sell these Sentry Wards now? Because he comboed it with an Observer Ward of his own. Is this like a way to pull gold to your teammate?
Oh.
Or is he just going to spam sentries?
I think that probably just going to spam sentries.
He planted one sentry, planted the obs. Is he going to now sell this?
Well,
I'm curious.
The top barracks are going down, so I think that they're in a pretty good spot regardless.
You asked the question, can they beat Mega Creeps? We're about to find out.
Yeah, definitely. Doom on top of Veno. Shiva's guard up as well. He's going to get chased on down here. Completely eviscerated. Ember Spirit gets the last hit. Meanwhile, trying to TP away is going to be, I believe that was the Tusk. Yes, going to make his way out of there. And now a whole nother battle comes on. This is a PvE officially.
Well, Piladai about to pick up a refresher potentially. He's got 5.2k gold and seems like the ideal item to have. Although I guess maybe wants to consider buyback himself. Well, I don't know what happens from here on out. It's still going to be Empire hold up in their own base. for Secret, the way they lose this game is by trying to push and dying, buying back, dying again. So the problem we reach is it's kind of a stalemate where Secret don't really want to push because that's going to be the way they lose the game, but they also know Empire are just going to stay in their own base themselves, so they can take Roshan, they can take map control, and they're going to look for like a pick off and jump somewhere on the map.
For Naga Siren, can you just every 45 seconds split up your illusions, toss them in there, song, and then put them on this tier 4? Like, is that the answer here?
It's definitely a possibility. It's a lot harder to do compared to the racks because the base for Empire now is just the tier 4 towers on the throne. That's the only point where they have to defend. In the past, they had to defend the tier 4 towers and the top lane of racks. So there was a much bigger distance between these two defense points. Now it's just entirely centered around the throne. So as long as Empire's heroes at the throne, if they're being slept, then the buildings are invulnerable. You can't use those kind of tactics if Empire are defending at their throne. You can use it if they're defending away from the throne, which could potentially happen because Empire at some point will need to push out these lanes and try and take some kind of a fight. We may see another 2-hero smoke and then use the level 2 boots of travel to engage. That seems like the only real play for Empire. They've got to smoke on Dazzle, have Dazzle Nightstalker smoke up and everyone else just TP in.
Yeah, certainly. I think right now, though, it feels to me almost, and they are going to send those illusions, but Ember clears them so quickly. It seems to me almost like the only play at this point for Empire is not even to push out the other lanes, but just to try and push out.
Okay, Silent picked up a Shadow Blade. He knows there's no gem, but there is 20 sentries on AA, so...
Oh, they end up catching him out, I guess.
Oh, he would be in trouble if there was any follow-up, but not the case.
Just going to back on out here. I feel like Empire don't even need to try and deal with the bottom and top lane at all. They just kind of go for... Oh, maybe actually going to find the initiation. Walrus Punch onto Doom. It's going to be able to create a little bit of separation now. Link gets popped for Misery. I feel like it's throne or bust at this point. Like, they...
Yeah, and they can't just go for the throne until they win a team fight, which Secret are being so cautious about. They're just not going to give that opportunity to Empire right now.
Definitely. Slowly picking away at the enemy team. Aloha Dance trying to find somebody. Force Staff, everything. Tossed out. Oh, Misery as well is going to end up trying to get a little bit of separation. Catches as well onto Silent. He's taking a lot of damage, and Snare's keeping him exactly where he wants to not be, I should say. And now the Lincolns as well. The Lotus Orb turning around yet again. Silent taking a lot of damage. Might end up falling here. Walrus Punch down, staying alive. Oh, Static Storm onto 3. Aegis is finally popped now. There's a song coming out. Rubik is off to the side as well. He was able to toss out his own. Silent somehow still alive at the end of all of this. Able to steal the song yet again, the Rubik is. Walrus Punch onto Resolution, trying to turn this one back around. Nobody has died in this fight yet. What the heck is going on? The heal is coming out, though. They're going to be able to take this one, I think. Oh, no, they don't want to be able to fight it. Resolution getting sheeped up. Isn't that a kinetic field drop down? Lotus Orb down for Misery. Doomed up Jackie, trying to create a little bit of separation. And meanwhile, the tier 4s have fallen down completely and totally. Tusk takes out the Night Stalker.
I feel like I was watching Black Hawk Down, and they were just doing everything they could to save Doom there. It's like Doom is 10 HP, they Static Storm, they sleep, there's another sleep, there's 2 Graves in one fight, everything just to keep the Doom alive, and unfortunately, a lot of people die to save that Doom in this game.
Doomed up Puppy, falling low. Ember Spirit kills him off with that massive, massive AoE, and it looks like this might be close to the end here for Empire. Silent getting graved up, but Misery falling as low. This Ember Spirit does so much damage, able to take down Weeha as well. Another song coming out, trying to keep his buddies alive as long as possible, while Dusk finally kills off the Doom. Private Ryan has been killed. The Ancient is starting to take a lot of damage, and they're doing everything they can to keep him off of it. This is feeling like it's a losing battle that they're fighting at this point in time.
Yes, it seems like we're at the end. Doom without buyback, same for the Rubik. Nightstalk can buyback, but he's just not able to fight without that Doom on the front lines. And Secret holding on to their buybacks here. They could just throw them out and then launch themselves at this throne, but I think they want to just play things a bit more cautiously. They can feel they've won this game, and they know the only possible way they could theoretically let it slip is just by dying back and not having not having those buybacks to work around.
There's Yoku. He falls. He buys back to the game.
That's
now.
a rapier on the ground. Misery. Come on, dude. Style points. There we go.
Nicely done. Always good to have a rapier just laying around the ground. We've been having trash all over the place. The gems all over, and now the rapiers as well. It's looking a little bit too bad. Empire. I feel like this draft. What do you think was the real cause of the sort of inevitable downfall here?
So they had a really strong mid game where they turned things around with the BKBs. It very much felt like Secret figured out how to just kite around it a lot better. They didn't try and fight into the BKBs as much, and also those BKB durations just got whittled away. We're looking at these 5-second BKBs for the last 20 minutes, and in a late game setting against AA and Veno, 5-second BKB just doesn't cut it.
There we go. One last little engagement here. Yoku is BKB'd up, staying alive a little bit longer. Might be able to just turn around and take the racks. That's actually Rapier on the ground yet again. A couple of Static Storms caught off, as well as the Veno ulti coming out. Tusk buying back into the game, wants to get back into the fray as quickly as possible, but they're just going to turn and take down the racks. They have enough. Secret end up taking game one.
Whew. That was game one? I thought that was like the full best-of-3 series.
That was quite a game, definitely. Really, really solid.
Oh man, that was a very entertaining way to get things started. Big props to Aloha Dance, who ends the game 1-12, but made some sick Rubik plays and spell steals like that. This is one of those games where you just can't look at the kill scores and really see the whole picture. Both teams' supports made some clutch plays, and gotta say that we've still got at least one more game, potentially two, Lyrical.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
Right.
We're doing it.
We are. For those of you who don't know, this is Lyrical. He's joined us here at the Beyond the Summit studio because we've got Majors coverage coming your way this weekend. We've got 4 days of non-stop action, and we've got a bit of a preview so you guys can see what's happening here at the BTS house.
Introducing the Beyond the Summit Major Qualifier Hub. Featuring 24/7 coverage of all 4 regions. Some of the best Dota you'll ever see in this dimension. Broadcast by the most accomplished group of talent ever assembled. We've got enough Merlinis for any situation, except no substitutes. We've got the most professional and well-tailored analysts, unlike these casters and Cinderin. Plus, real, authentic hype. Wow! Plus the smooth vocal chocolate of Lyrical, a promising new talent. We've taken him on board and schooled him in the fine arts of BTS.
Hey guys, this is Lyrical from BTS. Absolutely excited to work with you on the hub. Of course, this is all brought to you by Giveaway, Red Bull, Vulcan, The Score, and G2A.com, the best video game store ever.
From the ashes of High Ground TV, a new studio has arose to aid BTS in its time of greatest need, featuring the best raw talent in the history of Dota.
Wiggle, wiggle. With that big fat butt. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.